Hello, everyone. I want to introduce my book and encourage people that haven't already bought it to buy it and support my writing efforts. The book is this one here, Day by Day Buddhist. It is a diary that I wrote every morning a little bit in before my morning practice, which was a considerable practice, went on for several hours. And I took a little time to stabilize my mind before each practice session over a period of a couple of years to write this book. So it's actually is day by day thoughts of the day by day. And there were probably about 1,000 of those thoughts, and I culled them all down to 100 or maybe 200 or so, and formed them into a book. That is this one here. You can see it has some very interesting sections. It talks about everything on the Buddhist path, from making a beginning, how to enter the Buddhist path from scratch and not be intimidated by Buddhism, and by extension, any form of meditation. And it goes on through different elements of the path that can be applied to anyone, anywhere on the path, and thoughts that I have myself after being on the path for so many years. And the contents are beginnings and then daily practice. Daily practice is about how to develop a personal practice, a practice that will go on for years and that you can really one day look forward to that time that you spend in your daily practice. And there's some surprises in there. And it talks about some of the reasons that people do not develop a personal practice, why they fail to develop, although they try, they fail. And this covers, the section on daily practice covers how not to fail, how to actually develop a personal practice that you love and that you do every day. The next section talks about enlightenment. I'm not qualified to really talk about it from experience, but it talks about how to frame your mind in a way that's going to make it possible to actually attain enlightenment. So that this section's really not about enlightenment per se, but how to frame your mind in such a way that if you don't become enlightened, you'll become a lot happier. Let's put it that way. The next section is karma, emotions, and thoughts. These are big topics. Karma, we all know, is action. Everything we do, every thought we have, every action we perform affects the entire world in some way. Everything you say has an effect that ripples throughout the world. Thoughts have wings. And we're affecting everybody every day, constantly. And not only we're affecting others, others are affecting ourselves. We're not autonomous beings. So we have a responsibility to others and to do our part. And if we understand how karma works and how we're affected by others and their thoughts towards us and how the world affects us, then we can act and play our role a lot smarter. It's like an actor that knows not just his part, but he knows the whole play. He's going to act a lot better. So emotions, is always a favorite topic of mine, especially disturbing emotions, because people are often intimidated by disturbing emotions, and they really shouldn't be. We all have them. And good thoughts and bad thoughts, they all come from the same source. And if you understand that, you can get to the source and dwell there rather than the tail end of that source, how thoughts manifest as good, bad, or neutral. If you go to the source where it all arises, that's the path. So emotions is how to deal with anger, hatred, jealousy, and ill feelings, and so forth, in a smart way, so you're not overwhelmed by them, and you learn how to recognize them as energy that you can turn around and use for your own welfare and good. So emotions, and then thoughts. And thoughts we all have, but sometimes we don't know what to do with the thoughts. Or we don't know that we shouldn't do anything with them, and just watch them, be a witness to them. So the section on thoughts is about how to be a witness to thoughts and not get caught up in the thoughts themselves. Technically, conceptual elaboration. Thoughts arise, we elaborate on them, and we get into trouble. So how to avoid that? How in meditation just to be a witness to the thoughts. Watch them happen. So the next section, chapter, is meditation. So I speak here about meditation in a very broad way, how to apply basic principles of meditation that work across the board, no matter what form of meditation you wish to practice. If you want to practice mantras, breath mastery, pranayama, mindfulness of breathing, tantric visualizations, whatever form of meditation, it's about how to apply very basic disciplines, how to apply your mind to meditation, how to meditate, no matter what the topic is. So it's generic. I talk about meditation in a generic way, how to actually meditate. We can hear the peacocks around here. They're meditating now. It's getting towards sunset. They're active all the time, though. So the next section is phenomena. How to, this world, we're all part of it. We're influenced by our environment more than we may realize. We're environmentally stimulated, and how to function in the world and be happy and be nurtured by our environment, how to take advantage of the environment. When I lived in a very cold place, whenever I was depressed, I used to jump in the water in the ocean in the winter and swim 20 minutes. No one was in the water then. No one was on the beach unless they were in down jackets. But that was my therapy for depression. If I became depressed, I would jump in the ocean and swim in the cold ocean. And I'd come out, no bill, no $300. And I felt great. I forgot what I was depressed about. And the next section is questions and Sangha. Questions and Sangha is just questions people ask me all the time, common questions, how long should I meditate? What's a good meditation topic? When should I meditate? What time of day? And so forth. And Sangha talks about being around like-minded people that can really, in a situation where you help one another, even if it's not through words, just vibrationally. Practice with, even Christ said, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am also. So if we can have a Sangha, a few people that we practice with, it doesn't have to be every time we practice, but at least once a week or so. I talk about that, how important samaya is between individuals, practitioners. Teachers and teachings is a very important section. Some of you may know that I was very fortunate. I met many great teachers, and I talk about some of them in this book. And I met a lot of teachers that were famous, authors sometimes, very well known, that were completely what we call technically a bogey, inauthentic. And so I talk a lot about how to recognize a good teacher, what to look for, and not get trapped by a teacher that's maybe very well known, but not authentic. How to recognize an authentic teacher. And the importance, I also talk about the importance of finding a teacher. It's one of the most, there can't be enough said about it. A teacher is somewhere along the line very important to practice. It's not the most important thing at the very beginning, but as a saying goes, when a student is ready, the teacher appears. So it's about when you're ready to commit to a teacher, how to find that teacher, how to recognize that teacher. For example, one of the things His Holiness the Dalai Lama advises is, before committing to a teacher, just attend as you would attend a lecture in a college. No commitment whatsoever, and just not be committed to whoever you're interested in, and see if that commitment grows. If that teacher actually grows on you. That's one way you can know. And I talk a little bit about that. Teachers and teachings. Now, teachings is about what's important to study. How to get into the Dharma. How to begin, what teachings to, once you get along the path a little bit, how to approach a teaching, not to skip around, how to engage with the teaching, because teachings overlap a lot, and so you don't have to study everything. One famous saying is, because I penetrated one truth, I penetrated them all. This is very true. So the teaching and teaching section covers that. Then there's 3 appendixes that I've added recently. One's yoga and diet. Diet affects practice a lot. You want to be light, energetic, and strong to practice. And I talk about a diet that helps you do that. The diet's a personal thing. My diet might not work for you, but I talk it in general terms about the importance of diet and some ideas what to eat. Yoga, I learned a lot late, way too late, about the value of yoga in regards to meditation. I was practicing 30 years meditation, many, many hours a day before one day a very good friend, Denise Kaufman, she said, why don't you go and try yoga? I always used to say, no. She was a yoga teacher at a studio. I'm not interested in that. I always looked down on yoga. I thought, yoga is just, it's a peripheral practice. It's not real. So I never actually thought about it. I was very dismissive towards it. Biggest mistake in my practice in 50 years was that. Once I got into it, it was the biggest blessing to my practice in 50 years. It's really transformed my entire practice, my ability to sit, focus, absorb my mind in meditation. It just worked wonders. So I'm talking about real yoga, hatha yoga, or any kind of physical yoga, ashtanga, anything except Bikram's heat yoga, at least for me. So time and formality is an important section. It's about how to set up a time and how to keep a time. And formality is about, being respectful towards yourself and the Dharma by having some formal way of sitting. Have a place in your house, a place in your apartment, a place that you relate to, that you sit in all the time. Have a little altar there, where you light a candle and some incense, maybe put out some watering bowls. Even when I had very humble dwellings, I always had a corner where I'd have something. And when you do that and you go every day and you sit in that place, it has its own energy. And not only that, even sometimes you're attracted to go there just some off time and be with yourself. So it talks about having some ritual, the importance of some kind of ritual in practice. It really does help. And then the last appendix, the third appendix, is building a meditation practice, which overlaps with daily practice and the first two, beginnings and daily practice. So building a meditation practice is very important section because, I meet so many people that say, I tried meditation, but, it just doesn't work for me. I tried it 6 months. Sometimes I hear I did it a year, but I don't do it anymore. Even sometimes I know people that are actually been quite advanced practitioners, maybe even a monk, and then they don't practice anymore. So there's some secrets to building a meditation practice that I talk about in this book that work. That actually will make it so it actually happens and it becomes something you look forward to. Meditation becomes a blessing and a real a real nurturing aspect of your life. I'm looking for my little thing to end this, my little Bluetooth thing, because I always push the button on my phone, and you see the big finger going there. So that's what's going on. We just had a peacock land here. A few feet away. I'll show them to you. You see? Here he is by the grape. Hi, Mr. Peacock. You're in an intro to my book. Hi. There's hundreds of them here. Or, yeah, probably are at least 100. So, please support my writing efforts and try and find this in Amazon somewhere. In a few months, I actually found a publisher for my next one, and it's called Masters in the Master. It's about 10 years with Master Xuanhua, my ordination master, and that's will be out in probably October, November. But until that time, have a look at this.